There we go. Hi, everyone. This is your read aloud class assignment. All you have to do is get comfy and listen as I read Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Remember, this is reading 15, so I don't take longer than 15 minutes. I'm going to read 2 or 3 chapters every time you hear this, so make sure that you are listening to them in order, okay? So this is a fun little book, and let me read you the back, because every time we pick up a new book that we don't know, we always look at the front cover, we look at the title, we look at the author, we look at the back, we look at the front inside cover, we look at the back inside cover. We always look and to see how many chapters there are. We look at the table of contents. So this is just what we do every time we pick up a book that we don't know. It shows me that it has 28 chapters, which will be nothing. This will be easy. 30 chapters, actually. And so we're going to read 2 chapters today. I'm also going to do this on Saturday and Sunday, or I might combine them on Monday. We'll see. Okay. So remember, when we are looking at a new book, no matter whether it's you in the library or you in 5th grade, or if you get a new book for Christmas or your birthday, you always look and do your strategies, which means you look at the back and the front. And the back says, "Greetings to you, the lucky finder of this golden ticket." And it's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And it shows Willy Wonka, who is one of the main characters. He's the candy maker. And then he has over here is another character that we're going to discuss. And he has a golden ticket. So I wonder what that means. Remember, we're always predicting. So the inside front cover says, "Willy Wonka's famous chocolate factory is opening fast, but only 5 lucky children will be allowed inside. And the winners are Augustus Gloop, an enormously fat boy whose hobby is eating; Veronica Salt, a spoiled, rotten brat whose parents are wrapped around her little finger; Violet Beauregard, a dim-witted gum chewer with the fastest jaws around; Mike TV, a toy pistol-toting gangster in training who is obsessed with television; and Charlie Bucket, our hero, a boy who is honest and kind, brave and true, and good and ready for the wildest time of his life." So those are the 5 winners. It says Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Roald Dahl and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All right, table of contents. Chapter 1 says, "Here comes Charlie." Chapter 1, "Here comes Charlie." Who are those people in bed? These 2 very old people are the father and mother of Mr. Bucket. Their names are Grandpa Joe and Grandpa Josephine. That's who they are. And these 2 very old people are the father and mother of Mrs. Bucket. Their names are Grandpa George and Grandma Georgina. This is Mr. Bucket. This is Mrs. Bucket. Mr. and Mrs. Bucket have a boy who's small, whose name is Charlie Bucket. And here on the right, on this left side, is the grandparents of the mom. And here are the parents. And here's Charlie. "How do you do?" he says. "How do you do? And how do you do again? He is pleased to meet you." The whole of this family, the 6 grown-ups, count them, and little Charlie Bucket lived together in a small wooden house on the edge of a great town. The house wasn't nearly large enough for so many people, and life was extremely uncomfortable for them. There were 2 rooms in the place altogether, and there was only 1 bed. The bed was given to the 4 older grandparents because they were so old and tired. They were so tired, they never got out of it. Grandpa Joe and Grandpa Josephine on this side, Grandpa George and Grandma Georgina on the other side. Mr. and Mrs. Bucket and little Charlie Bucket slept in the other room upon a mattress on the floor. In the summertime, this wasn't too bad, but in the winter, freezing cold drafts blew across the floor all night long, and it was awful. There wasn't any question of them being able to buy a better house or even more beds to sleep in. They were far too poor for that. Mr. Bucket was the only person in the family with a job. He worked in the toothpaste factory where he sat all day long at a bench and screwed the little caps onto the tops of the tubes of toothpaste after the tubes had been filled. But a toothpaste cap screwer is never paid very much money, and poor Mr. Bucket, however hard he worked and however fast he screwed on the caps, was never able to make enough to buy 1/2 of the things that his large family needed. There wasn't even enough money to buy proper food for them all. The only meals they could afford were bread and margarine for breakfast, boiled potatoes and cabbage for lunch, and cabbage soup for supper. Sundays were a bit better. They all looked forward to Sundays because then, although they hadn't exactly the same, everyone was allowed a second helping. The Buckets, of course, didn't starve, but every one of them, the 2 old grandfathers, the 2 old grandmothers, Charlie's father, Charlie's mother, and especially little Charlie himself, went about from morning till night with a horrible empty feeling in their tummies because they were hungry. Charlie felt it worst of all because he's a growing boy, and although his father and mother often went without to share their lunch or supper so that they could give it to him, it still wasn't nearly enough for a growing boy his age. He desperately wanted something more filling and satisfying than cabbage and cabbage soup. The only thing he longed for more than anything else was chocolate. Walking to school in the mornings, Charlie could see great slabs of chocolate piled up high in the shop windows, and he would stop and stare and press his nose against the glass, his mouth watering like mad. Many times a day, he would see other children taking creamy candy bars out of their pockets and munching on them greedily, and that, of course, to see them was pure torture. Once a year, on his birthday, did Charlie Bucket ever get a tasted bit of chocolate. The whole family saved up their money for that special occasion, and when the great day arrived, Charlie was always presented with one small chocolate bar to eat all by himself. And each time he received it on those marvelous birthday mornings, he would place it carefully in a small wooden box that he owned and treasure it as though it were a bar of solid gold. And for the next days, he would allow himself only to look at it but never touch it. Then at last, when he couldn't stand it any longer, he would peel back the tiny bit of paper wrapping at one corner to expose a tiny bit of chocolate. And then he would take a tiny nibble, just enough to allow the lovely sweet taste to spread out over his tongue. The next day, he would take another tiny nibble, and so on and so on. And in this way, Charlie would make his 10-cent bar of birthday chocolate last him for a month. But I haven't yet told you about the one awful thing that tortured little Charlie, the lover of chocolate, more than anything else. This thing for him was far, far worse than seeing slabs of chocolate in the shop windows or watching children munching them. It was the most terrible torturing thing you could imagine. It was this. In the town itself, actually within the site of the house in which Charlie lived, there was an enormous chocolate factory. Just imagine that. And it wasn't simply an ordinary enormous chocolate factory either. It was the largest and most famous in the whole world. It was Wonka's factory, owned by a famous man called Willy Wonka, the greatest inventor and maker of chocolates that there has ever been. And what a tremendous, marvelous place it was. It had huge iron gates leading into it and a high wall surrounding it, and smoke belching from its chimneys and strange whizzing sounds coming from deep inside. And outside the walls for half a mile around in every direction, the air was scented with the heavy, rich smell of melting chocolate. Twice a day on his way to and from school, little Charlie Bucket had to walk right past the gates of the factory, and every time he went by, he would begin to walk very, very slowly, and he would hold his nose up high, and so he could sniff the gorgeous smells of all the chocolate being made. Oh, how he loved that smell, and oh, how he wished he could go inside the factory and see what it was like. All right, we're just going to stop there for chapter 1. I'll do chapter 2 probably tomorrow. Just look for it in your OLS. Sometimes I might have another person read it. Sometimes I might have it from a YouTube video and have them read it to you. It just depends on what my coughing level is. So that was chapter 1 of Willy Wonka. Thank you for listening, and I hope you got cozy, and I hope that interests you in looking at this and looking at the videos more. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.